Welcome to Channel 69 News, all action, all the time. And in our first broadcast, we will be talking to you and only you, the American people, about the civil unrest going on in this country, sweeping everyone off their feet, out of their homes, from the perspective of Kansas. Now, our first topic of today, Adobe Animate. Adobe, after receiving criticism from users, has reversed their decision to discontinue Adobe Animate, the decades-old 2D animation software used to make such hit shows such as Teen Titans Go, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Star Trek, Lower Decks, and Smiling Friends. After receiving backlash online, Adobe has decided that they will be putting the program in maintenance mode, meaning that the software will still continue to be available, be supported, and will continue to receive security and bug fixes. However, it will not get new features. The company expects this change to be indefinite and, as of now, has no plans to discontinue or remove access to Adobe Animate. Now, this change to move Adobe Animate into maintenance mode coincides with a directional shift within the company as they transition towards the use and creation of AI software. In 2025, Adobe Animate received minimal updates, with the only substantial ones being improved AI integration. Also in that year, Adobe also launched Firefly Video Model, an AI video generation feature, as well as launching Adobe Firefly Foundry in October of that very year, helping companies generate AI models trained on their brand. In December of 2025, Adobe added features from Photoshop, Express, and Acrobat to ChatGPT, letting users ask the chatbot to use these apps to edit images, modify PDFs, or create their own designs. Now, we still have more to talk about. Democracy Now! Protests in Olathe. Last week, or earlier this month, 69 Action News went to better understand social movements. In Olathe, Kansas, our reporters went to a Democracy Needs You Now protest, organized by Indivisible, a nationwide movement working to stop the rise of authoritarianism in the United States and to demand a real democracy. We had the opportunity to speak to several members of this community to discover the set of circumstances that motivated these individuals to come together in advocacy for democracy. This is what they had to say.
We're being lied to. I'm worried about my neighbors.
So I'm just out here trying to have a voice in what's I see that is so wrong and so bad, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing here.
Today we come out every Saturday here to protest the administration, use our voices, and as you can see, lots of people agree with us.
Now, we would have stayed longer. However, word reached us that our presence, 4 men with clipboards and cameras, understandably made several older members uncomfortable, afraid that they would be misrepresented. Out of respect for those who, in good faith, allowed us to interview them, we decided to leave. And I also appreciate their communication to us as individuals. Now, on to the JCC AI protest. In response to an AI art exhibit at Johnson County Community College, students organized a protest in order to express their dissatisfaction with the changing direction of the art world. The college has been attempting to work AI into its curriculum in order to better prepare its students for the job market of the future. According to Forbes, in April of 2025, a McKinsey report projects that by 2030, 30% of current United States jobs could be automated, with 60% significantly altered by AI tools. Goldman Sachs predicted that up to 50% of jobs could be fully automated by 2045, driven by generative artificial intelligence, and robotics. Now, the event consisted of 4 presentations on AI as a concept in general, ranging from the pro-artificial intelligence side, defending the tool as a way to enhance creative potential, centered around the core concept that tools are meaningless without an idea. The presentations presented the potential darker side of artificial intelligence, covering its potential use in mass surveillance, its environmental impacts, and even suicide. Related to the AI chatbot use, we were able to interview a couple of the speakers and a protester to hear a little bit more about what they had to say.
The art's supposed to be about creativity and the human will of like, oh, what can we make? Like the Roman Colosseum pyramids. It was all about like that creativity and what we can make. With AI, it's like where is any of that, right? Except for just the machine. There's no sense of wonder. There's no sense of will or human determination. It's literally just words on a screen.
I mean, it's here, whether we want it to be or not.
I think we're definitely in this like kind of awkward teetering place with AI where, I mean, I think a lot of the students are still in a place where we're like, we just don't, like, we don't even talk about it. Like when they introduce the project, I'm like, I don't do that. Honestly, a lot of times it's easiest to just avoid it, you know, because I am still kind of in that place where I'm putting it off as long as I can with AI, you know, but it's just kind of, you know, case by case thing, and sometimes you just have to do your best because we don't have answers.
Because we are in an era right now of the world and in this country, excuse me, where a lot of responsibility is being pushed onto the consumer, onto people like you and me. And I think we are at a precipice of maybe turning that around, where we can finally hold some of these huge corporations that are the ones poisoning our planet, you know, and making life harder for us.
Now, we attempted to interview the first speaker, however, we were unable to due to the crowd. It was rowdy, and we had every intention of respecting everyone's privacy. Now, the government partial shutdown. AP News reports that a partial government shutdown began Saturday, February 14th, after congressional Democrats and President Donald Trump's team failed to reach a deal on legislation to fund the department throughout September. A partial government shutdown occurs when Congress fails to pass an all-annual appropriation of bills, causing funding to lapse for specific federal agencies while others remain unfunded. Non-essential functions in affected agencies cease, resulting to furloughs. Now, while essential employees continue to work without immediate pay. Democrats are demanding changes to how immigration operations are conducted after the fatal shootings of United States citizens, such as Alex Preddy and Renee Good, by federal officers in Minneapolis last month. Unlike the shutdown last fall, with a partial shutdown, the closures are narrowly confined, affecting only agencies under the Department of Homeland Security's umbrella, including the Transportation Security Administration, United States Coast Guard, United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and United States Customs and Border Protection. But the work of ICE and CBP will mostly continue unabated, thanks to billions in funding from the Trump administration's 2025 tax and spending outlook. Animal rights advocate earlier this month. We were able to speak with a local animal rights activist who likes to use rage baiting as a way of starting a dialogue with individuals, hoping to use their own aggravation and frustration towards him as a teaching method. This is what he had to say.
There's like an expose on like a factory farm. The media will frame it as if like this is an industry standard and it's this specific one that's doing this. But no, like all farms treat their animals like this. And they'll frame it more as like a public health issue or something that might be bad for the environment. But like the largest ethical concern is how we're treating the individuals, how the baby animals we're killing.
According to the
Yeah. No, I haven't always been vegan. I went vegan, I think, around the time I graduated high school.
Okay.
Pretty much like what happened to me is I was watching one of my favorite political streamers, Destiny, and then I watched them just get absolutely annihilated by a vegan. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't have any ethical arguments
All right.
after this. And so I just went vegan overnight. It's really not that difficult, especially nowadays. People have ChatGPT or AI. You can just ask it to make you your own vegan recipe.
Yeah, this is
The only thing that I will say that people should know is you have to supplement B12.
okay.
You cannot get around that.
ICE raids in Kansas. ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency in the U.S., has begun operations in Kansas, with agents being seen in Manhattan, Olathe, and Lawrence as early as February 17th of 2026. ICE, quickly, was created in 2003 following the Homeland Security Act of 2002 in response to the 9/11 attacks, taking over duties from the former Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS. While Deportation Authority has existed since 1798, ICE began operations as the primary federal agency for interior immigration enforcement and removals in 2003. With detention systems expanding significantly following 1996, a legal immigration reform and immigration responsibility. While large-scale raids existed under INS, ICE continued and intensified workplace enforcement in specific periods, such as 2017 throughout 2019, and again starting in early 2025. Supporters claim that ICE targets criminals, traffickers, and fentanyl distributors, reducing threats to communities. Data shows that removing repeat offenders lowers local crime rates and dismantles smuggling networks, particularly benefiting working class neighborhoods affected by addiction and violence. Viewing enforcement is seen as essential to prevent assaults, rapes, and murders by individuals who entered illegally, prioritizing the rights of U.S. citizens and legal immigrants. Proponents also argue that illegal immigration strains housing, wages, schools, and healthcare. In this light, ICE is viewed as executing congressional mandates and is therefore not overreaching, stating that detentions follow due process with hearings and appeals, and claims of abuse are addressed through investigations. Weak enforcement erodes borders, invites chaos, and undermines the U.S. political system. Critics of the Trump administration's policies argue that despite claims of targeting the worst of the worst, arrests of non-criminals have surged, with violent crime apprehensions flatlining, which is now diverting resources from other threats such as child exploitation and drug trafficking. Many also argue that ICE is engaging in inhumane tactics in both their apprehension and deportation policies. In response, a new PBS News/NPR and Marxist poll found a majority of Americans say ICE is making the country less safe. PBS reported on February 5th that 6 in 10 Americans disapprove of the job ICE is doing, while about 3 in 10 approve. Opinions about the agency and its actions are sharply divided among political lines. 91% of Democrats and 66% of independents registering their disapproval. Republicans, however, remain supportive. with 73% approving of the agency's work. 22% of respondents said that the agency's actions are about right, compared to the 26% last year. The percentage that believes ICE is not going far enough in its efforts dropped from 18% to 12% just today. And America, that seems to be all we have for you today in our first broadcast. At 69 Action News, all action all the time. We made it our personal goal to deliver this news to you with as much authenticity and soul as humanly possible. So you can go to sleep and fluff up your pillow and pull your blanket over with that in mind, that we at 69 had your best interest in mind. We're 69 Action News, all action all the time. Have a good night.